Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
And we're back with another episode. Mary. Hi.
Hi. I'm happy to be back.
I know. Hey, before we get started, I'm doing this. Wait. Ready? That is for the cool weather that we got.
What a drop in temperature.
I know. 60, I think it's like 65 out there.
Oh, it is delicious.
It's been lovely. I had to give it some applause. Give it a little love, as we say.
So wonderful.
Yes, very nice. Have you enjoyed it?
I am thoroughly enjoying it. I am in the midst of enjoying it.
Very good.
I am going to enjoy it.
Well,
I don't want it to be over.
Well, I think I think we're on the downturn here on the hot days, hopefully.
Oh, of course we are. Yes.
Well, we hope. We're in Texas. Next
but
week could be 90.
We're hitting the milder evenings, milder mornings.
I like it.
And we had a pretty substantial amount of rain, which was very welcome.
You know, I was talking to my brother, and he lives in Florida, and he had told me all the rain they've been getting. And he asked how we were, and I think it was going to rain the next day. And I told him, I said, I honestly can't remember the last time it rained.
I know.
It was really like a long time.
It's been about the time sort of right after the solstice, right? When we talked about trimming back your trees because the days were going to be even.
I think so.
I mean, it was a long time without rain.
No, it was a crazy long time without rain. But we did get the good rain. Of course, we know nothing here, and you can't just have like a little of anything. It's just got to rain a lot. It rained a lot for a day.
Yes.
About a day and a half. It was nice, though.
Very welcome.
Got everything watered for us, and very nice.
I like it. That was one of my what's new in the garden topics.
Well, I'm heading over here. Then let's.
It's cold weather.
Mary, can I ask you a question? May I ask you a question? We do this every week. Hey, Mary, what's new in the garden?
New in the garden this week is the monarch butterflies.
Yes. I like that.
We had so many patches of zinnia that have, they're going over. They're getting ready to stop growing for winter, but there are a few flowers still blooming. I almost pulled them about a week and a half ago. I did pull some, but not all. And those suckers were totally covered with monarch butterflies.
They are. It's crazy. And we went out, I think you counted one on like every single
single bloom.
Pretty cool.
And I'm so thankful I did not pull them. I'm going to put that in my journal for next year is don't pull them
Put
early.
them in the journal. You're journaling now.
Put it in the journal.
I like it. We have had a lot of butterflies. It's pretty cool.
Oh, they are beautiful. They have just covered everything. They're migrating through our area right now.
I like it.
Everybody's excited about them.
I wonder how they're doing. The wind is crazy out there. It's been all day. I wonder how they're doing the wind. It's got to be blowing them around. They're so small. I haven't seen many out today, to be honest with you. They're probably hiding.
We've been tucked in too. So
we have. What else you got for the what's new?
I have to say, I was taking a little tootle around the garden, and it suddenly struck me at how much everything has grown this fall. The Arroyo Sweetwood has put on maybe 4 to 5 inches of growth this fall. We were just out in the backyard, and of course, the big windstorm knocked over one of our Anacacho orchid trees. And we went out to tie it back up. It has grown. It has to have grown at least 2 feet.
Yeah, it's done well. Yeah, it's done really well.
It's well over my head, and it certainly was not over my head at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
So
I like it.
I'm pretty dang excited about that.
I know. We did. We had to tie him back up.
We had to tie him back up. Yeah, that maybe the root system needs a little help, but anyway.
I think he'll be okay.
We'll see. Also, we harvested a heap load of tomatoes.
You did, there's
Yes.
There's a lot out there left.
A lot left.
I know.
We pulled off some paste tomatoes, Amish paste, that were ripening. We pulled off tons and tons and tons of little cherry tomatoes, and they are so sweet and delicious right now.
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes me very excited to go out there and see what all's happening in the garden.
I know, and it's cool when it's cool too. It makes it's like so nice to just wander around back there.
It does. Yeah.
Very good.
I'm with you. I like to wander around.
We do. And we always have our faithful companions, Brooke and Gilder, with us.
Oh, I almost forgot to tell one other thing that's new in the garden. I planted a red hibiscus. So that I can't think of the exact name of it, right? So it's it'll come to me. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, it is the form of hibiscus that makes the tea.
Oh, yeah. So you were showing me that. Yeah.
And I had given up on it about maybe a month ago. I had just said, oh my goodness, I'm just going to let it grow. And I'm not even going to look at it because it hadn't bloomed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what was going on. But when we were out there today, there are so many calyxes on the plant, and I guess the wind knocked it over too, that the plant is humongous, and it's ready for harvesting those calyxes, the Roselle hibiscus. That is what it is. And I cannot wait to get out there and harvest. I'll probably get a nice little basket full of them. And for the first year growing it, I consider that a real win.
So can you make tea out of it just the way it is?
Yes. Well, you dry it's the calyx. Remember last week
I remember I was quizzing you. I quizzed you.
You quizzed me on the apples.
I did.
It's the same thing. It's the little bottom part after the flower flowers, it forms a calyx. And you pluck that off and dry it, and then you could grind it and make your hibiscus tea.
Whoa. All right, you got to do that.
It's supposed to be very good for you.
I like it.
Very, very good.
I actually like hibiscus tea, so believe it or not, iced tea.
Yes.
I'm more of an iced tea person than a hot tea. But
well, I mean, we are basically from the South.
We are. There you go.
That is what it is.
Very cool. All right.
And so I was quite thrilled about that today.
Very cool. Yeah, I know you were showing me those. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to make some iced tea. In the cold weather, we still make iced tea here in Texas.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do that.
Okay.
All right, what else you got?
I am not sure what.
Is that it for the what's new in the garden?
That could possibly be.
Okay, well, we did get a pumpkin.
Oh, I forgot.
We picked up a crazy looking, what they call it, a princess pumpkin?
Mm-hmm, something like that. Actually, it is crazy, but it is beautiful.
It's really nice.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you know what I like? It's not like totally orange. It's got some dark, so it's a little, I like stuff that looks a little different. But it looks cool. And we have, Halloween is a couple days away, so.
Yep. But, the funny thing is we might have to just carry it around with us because we were supposed to carve it and we forgot.
Well, we did forget to go.
So we could carry it with us.
I like it. I like the way it is. It's pretty cool.
It's very decorative.
If it survives, would it survive until Thanksgiving? It could be at Thanksgiving.
I think it would.
If we don't carve it.
That's right. Oh, I'm pretty sure it would survive until Thanksgiving.
Yeah. We can. Hey, it can stay right on the
decoration
on the fireplace there.
There we go.
All right, I like it. All right.
It's so funny because here in Texas, we do love to carve pumpkins, but you will go out in like 2 days and you'll have black mold growing out of the whole thing. So
they don't last long.
They do not last.
You got to come up with all those crazy Vaselines and put them in water.
Put them in the refrigerator. Put them in water. That might be a good thing. I never knew that.
Yeah, I think you do that. The other thing, we could do, like we talked about a couple times ago, you can just get a big turnip
Ooh, yes.
I wonder if they go bad.
I want to see you do that.
I think that's why we switched to pumpkins. All right, Mary, let's continue on to topic number 1.
I was going to go down the Apple Trail.
Apple Trail.
Number 2.
Remember the show Apple's Way? Just now you said that.
I do.
Remember that was a good
Love
old, gosh,
that
what was that,
show.
70s? 8? Oh my goodness.
70s.
Oof. Showing our age.
70s.
That was cool. They lived in that house that had the water mill and
the
stuff.
water mill.
All right, I'm off course. Go ahead. You said how it came to my mind.
I love that show.
All right. What do you got for apples this week?
Well, this week I did a little deep dive. I wanted to know about things that people did with apples and different forms of uses that they made of their apple harvest.
Okay.
And I really went down a few rabbit trails, and I really was overwhelmed at the amount of information. Interesting information like this one. This recipe, I can't give you the exact recipe. I'm going to tell you where I found the information. It's called the Apple Muse.
Oh, okay.
The Apple Muse is, from what I can understand from reading, was sort of a apple porridge sort of dish. And it maybe have been like the forerunner to the mousse. Like today we say a chocolate mousse or something like that, sort mousse. Of a pudding. And it was very similar to a pudding-ish or maybe somewhat of a porridge because, chocolate mousse is very smooth. Mm-hmm. It probably isn't that smooth. But what they would do is I found this article on a dollop of history, historydollop.com, and this one is from April the 17th, 2017. She gives she or he, I couldn't figure that part out, but they give the ingredients as apples, honey, almond milk, breadcrumbs, saffron, salt, and sandalwood.
Oh, that's weird. Sandalwood's kind of strong.
I wrote in here, my little note says, not me.
No, that would be a strongie.
It is a medieval recipe. And it was used a lot by the monks and so forth. And I thought that was so interesting. She does have a recipe for how they created the almond milk. I thought we were so modern and so with it and so forward. And I was shocked to learn that almond milk goes all the way back to medieval times.
Does it really?
Yes, it does.
I'm surprised. I actually didn't know that. I thought that was just created, when all the health craze and all the stuff kind of, the alternative to regular milk. I did not know that. Not so.
Huh. The two reasons were, if you have cow's milk, sometimes if you could get pathogens in cow's milk. Today we pasteurize and they're very careful about checking the cows and everything. But back then, of course, they weren't. And so the cow maybe it didn't live in super clean conditions. And so the milk may not always have been suitable for human consumption. That's one thing. And the other thing is that the church, the Catholic Church, placed so many restrictions on diet. And the other religious peoples did have restrictions about diet as well. So almond milk provided a alternative source of milk in your recipes.
That is so strange. So I'm sitting there thinking, who in their right mind looked at an almond and said, "Hey, let's make milk out of it." Honestly,
she has
it's
the
crazy.
Medieval. A long time ago, they didn't call them recipes either. They called them receipts. So she does have the medieval receipt for making.
That's just amazing to think about.
It is
Even today,
amazing,
I'm going to be
right?
honest. Whether it was then or now, even now, it's just like an almond and milk. It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's weird.
Quite surprising. Well, one of the things that she talks about here in the recipe too is that you will use some toasted slices of bread, and I have this idea in my head that the bread that they had probably doesn't equal the bread we have today, but I could be wrong about that. But at any rate, she says it's very important to actually toast your bread slices and make it all crumbly. You don't want to use a packaged bread crumble or anything because the consistency won't be as thick. I think it'll be way too fine. So it almost sounds to me like the apple muse could be a cross between a porridge, a bread pudding,
Interesting.
And so if we go down the list of what they're using and we reach saffron, I mean, today, we were just talking about this in the car the other day. There's a special crocus plant, and you harvest the sepals out of the flower. And it is so expensive. It is probably way more expensive than gold to purchase. So you only buy just a minute quantity of those little threads of saffron. But at this time, in that area of the country, in that area of the world, the saffron was very common. That was a readily available spice, and it provided, the yellow color to the different dishes that they were going to make. And so also the sandalwood, you certainly would not want to use very much of it, I'm sure, but it was there to give color.
Oh.
I say nix on the sandalwood for me, but...
every time you say sandalwood, the only thing I think of is like cologne.
A pair of sandals. I think of cologne as well.
Yeah. I don't,
Yes.
I honestly, you never think of it in any other, I
No.
never think of it in any other kind of context.
No, neither do I.
Yeah.
No. It was one of the things that was super interesting. I did learn this on a different site, that they would have the main chef or main cook in the middle of the room, right? And he would be shouting things out to the different people around him that were doing the cooking. He wasn't actually doing the cooking. And there was a scribe sitting in the corner. So as this person was telling the other people what to do, the scribe would be trying to copy down the recipes. So a lot of times, as you go far back into history, you don't have any amounts or weights or measures or anything like that. But from what I can sort of tell is that the apples are processed till they're sort of like a applesauce consistency, and the rest of the ingredients are cooked into the dish. And it sounds very appetizing, the apple muse.
I like it.
Interesting, right?
I'd love to like be in the kitchen when the guys, the person's in the middle, and then you got a scribe, and
you have a scribe.
It's probably a pretty cool little
I'm sure that they were huge areas. That's the way I think of it in my mind.
Well, that's how I think of it too. I don't think of, yeah.
And these were recipes that weren't for, well, I don't know about this one. I do believe this one could have been used in like a monastery type situation, because in the medieval times, most of the apples and things like that were found in the walled gardens of the monasteries and the abbeys and so forth. And so, but there's another recipe that I had learned about, and it was talking about one of the earliest apple pies that they made. And that recipe is where the gentleman's in the middle of the room shouting out the ingredients, and it's getting written down by the scribe. And now I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, yes, I remember. No. So it was actually a recipe for the kitchens of the king. And what it was for was to be able to be passed on to the next person that was going to be the cook, right? But again, we have no weights or measures, so
yeah, that's pretty
pretty
cool, though.
It is really cool. We're talking about 1300s, 1380, I believe some of those recipes are for.
Like I said, it would have been cool to kind of peek back into time and see that whole thing, how it
amazing,
worked.
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I did learn last week, this kind of follows along with that history. We had said that apples were being grafted so that they could keep the same apple for multiple generations of trees. And also the rootstock could be a hardy rootstock, and maybe the apple needed a little support that way. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently it was known well back into Roman times. I mean, it would have been known even further back, but it was recorded about the grafting process during Roman times.
That's crazy.
I was just, I thought that was amazing.
It is. I know.
Yeah.
We say that every time. It's like, how did they do this? How did they come up with all this stuff?
How did they know?
They didn't have Google.
My friend.
I know. It's crazy. It's pretty cool, though.
It is cool. Very much.
I like it.
And the knowledge that has remained with us and been passed down with us, that I think is super cool, too.
I was, you know what, when you brought up the grafting, I was actually, here's a William Lawson, who was a Yorkshire cleric, had a book called A New Orchard and Garden. It was published in 1618. And in that he described the act of grafting and as it was developed in Jacobean England.
Wow.
But you're right, it goes back to evidence. There was evidence from the Greek and Roman times of the use of grafting.
Amazing.
And then thanks to the Romans, so it was widespread through Europe in the medieval times.
1618,
that's when he wrote it.
Created his, he wrote it.
But he kind of wrote about it, but it does go back. It goes all the way back. That's it's crazy. I like it.
I like it too. I love that history part.
Yep. Okay.
So for my second discussion, you can find the discussion for the Apple Muse at thehistorydollop.com. Very interesting site. The next thing I wanted to talk about, if I say to you, Jeffrey, Apple Jacks, what do you think of?
Cereal.
Me too. I always think of Apple Jacks with the kids doing cartwheels.
That was a big thing when we were growing up.
Well, I had heard the Apple Jack term being mentioned last week while I was looking up apples and so forth, and it's actually an alcoholic beverage. It's one of the original American alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
It's a very strong drink. It was developed in colonial America around 1698, and it originated in New Jersey. One of the names that they used to call it was the Jersey Lightning.
Oh, wow. I like that one.
Right, 1698. All right. So the reason that it's called Apple Jack is because in order to increase the alcohol content, they used a process that was called jacking.
Okay.
So they made their hard cider, and in a barrel, they would bury it in the winter. Maybe they would bury it in the snow or bury it outside in the very cold weather. And of course, ice would form around the outside of the cask, and they would empty out the rest of the liquid, which was alcohol. And so they increased the amount of the alcohol to water, I think is the ratio, right? To about 40%. And the jacking process was, of course, very economical. All kinds of people could, you could do it. But it took a long time. and was labor intensive, and probably. So what they would do, like today, an Applejack or an apple brandy, which I'll talk about here in a few minutes, has to be 40% alcohol. And so I think that's pretty strong, right?
40%? No, it's not too bad, actually. No.
Well, compared to apple cider, that was probably a big step up.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yes, it would be stronger than apple cider.
Doing the jacking process, it would create the alcohol. It did distill the product, but it also had some side chemicals that were in there, such as ethanol. So today, when they try to do the jacking process using cold distillation, they have a filter type system where they remove those byproducts and you're not getting a bad product. However, usually they do a common evaporative distillation today instead of the jacking system. Yeah, I had no idea.
And then somebody thought it would be a great idea to name a cereal, a kid's cereal after that. Okay. That's kind of weird.
Well, you've heard of Calvados, right? The liquor Calvados. Calvados is a brandy that's made in Normandy, France, and it can have apples and pears as well as other things in it. Applejack is a little bit different from Calvados because it mainly uses an apple such as a wine sap apple. It is an American liquor, and there are other apple brandies that are available as well.
Okay.
So, an apple brandy. So, Applejack is primarily American, but if you look at apple brandy, it was made worldwide, and it hails all the way back to the Middle Ages. So once again, we're
back to the Middle Ages
back
with
to
us.
the Middle Ages.
Okay.
And the primary difference between the apple brandy and the Applejack is where it is made.
Oh, okay. That's like the bourbon whiskey kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I get you.
Which is a very interesting story. I think we should do a delve into that sometime.
Yeah, that is. We will. That is an interesting.
It is interesting, right?
The history of that and why it can only be called bourbon in certain areas.
I think we should put that on our calendar.
Placed on calendar.
Well, I wanted to let everybody know about a cute little cocktail. We find this cocktail, it's called the Jack Rose.
Okay.
And it's mentioned in The Sun Also Rises, which was written in 1926 by Ernest Hemingway. Applejack was a very popular source for different drinks during the 1920s and the early 1930s.
Okay.
And so in the Jack Rose, you find Applejack, you find citrus, like you could have lemon, you could have lime, something like that, and grenadine. Yes. So you should look up and have a little cocktail, the Jack Rose.
Very nice. That's great time of year for apples. That's why we're talking about them.
That's right. All about the apples.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I thought that the Applejack was quite interesting. And it's not even a cereal.
That is literally the only thing I've heard. Because we were, every commercial on Saturday mornings had Apple Jacks.
Here's in my mind what I think could have got it all started. This is totally my imagination, right? I think somebody made apple cider. And they were all doing their thing, and they forgot about a barrel of apple cider, and it got left out in the cold weather. And then they discovered it, and they poured off what was not frozen, and voila.
Yeah, I think
that's what I would suspect.
I would guess you're right. I don't I mean, there was no, a lot of these things had to just be found by, trial and error kind of thing. Or, I mean, I don't think anybody was kind of out to do it. I think they were like, hey, wow, that's pretty good. Let's reproduce it.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Right? Let's keep doing that and see what we come up with.
Yeah.
So, no, that's awesome.
That's what I think.
I like it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, so our final idea for the day, which is something I might give a good try, is called the apple pandowdy.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of an apple
Never.
pandowdy?
Never heard of that.
Well, it is a traditional American dish.
Really?
And it hails to us from the 1800s and the very early 1900s. And it's kind of a combination between a pie and a pudding.
So crazy. Okay. All these apple pudding things are coming.
They used what they had.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
Okay. So what you do is you take a crust. I would describe it as a short crust. You want to make it with your I use all-purpose flour, your cold butter, and the main thing is cold is the main ingredient, really. You want to keep everything very cold, your butter cold, your hands cold as you're working your pie crust, and water. And to be very blunt and honest with our listeners, I usually buy the frozen pie crust. I make it a little easy on myself.
Yeah.
So you want a short pie crust. And what you're going to do is you have a sort of a casserole dish. Ours is probably in the area of maybe an 8x5 and a couple inches deep. You could have it like a 9x9, something like that. You kind of adjust your amount of ingredients to fit your casserole. You're going to line the bottom and the sides, up the sides with the pie crust. But you want to reserve some crust so you could put over the top. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill it. You're going to make a good apple filling for your pie crust. And it does take more apples than you think. So I like to use about 2 of those 3-pound bags of the organic apples that we buy from the grocery store. Of course, I core the apple. A lot of recipes ask you to remove the skin. To be perfectly blunt, I usually don't. And the apples are sliced down to about between a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch slice. For me, I really like to use something like maple syrup, or they call out, you could use molasses if you wanted to. You could use brown sugar. Well, some recipes call for brown sugar, but you could do 1/2 cup of your granulated sugar and 1/2 cup of maple syrup. We buy the fancy maple syrup sometimes, and
we do.
I do like to put in about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And personally, I like to use the good old apple pie spice. I like a bit more spice than is called for in a lot of the recipes. So I use about 1 teaspoon. And when I make fried apples, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
And they're so easy, and I just get the McCormick's apple pie spice. Works perfectly.
No, it tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes really good. About a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and somewhere like a 1/4 cup of water. So what you're going to do is you're going to slice your apples. You're going to, okay, you could do a couple different ways. I'm going to tell you the way I've read how you should do it, and then I'm going to tell you how I think you should do it, which I like better, that I like to do. They say to place your apples in the crust and pour your filling mixture over the top of it. I kind of like to mix my apples in the filling mixture and put the whole thing into the crust personally, but I think you could do either way. when I make fried apples too, they come out good.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah,
I love when
we
you do
eat them
that.
up.
Yeah.
Then what you want to do is you want to take some super cold butter and about maybe a quarter of a cup and cube it, and then drop those little cubes all over the apple mixture on top. Then you're going to put the reserved pie crust. I'm making myself so hungry here.
When are you making this?
The reserved pie crust on the top, and you're going to seal it up all the way around the edges by crimping or pinching the edges together. And then I put a hole in the middle to let the steam come out of the crust. You're going to bake it at 350 degrees. In my personal oven, it always takes longer than usual, but about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. I probably run like an hour and 30 minutes or so. It also depends on how thick your casserole is. Yeah, so you want the filling to be bubbling, and you want the crust to be golden brown. And if your edges start to brown up too quick, you could cover them with a little bit of aluminum foil and keep them from burning. And then the one thing I wanted to say was you can make a milk wash or an egg wash, like a couple eggs and a little bit of water, or milk and a little water. And you could brush that on the top to give it a glaze or glossy finish too before you bake it.
Okay.
Then here's the reason why it is called a dowdy.
Okay.
Because when you take it out of the oven, you're going to use a spoon or fork or a knife, and you're going to dowdy the crust.
I don't know what that is. What's that? How do you dowdy a crust? What is that?
What you're going to do is you're going to poke into the crust, and you're going to cause the bottom crust to come up a little bit. You want nice big chunks of crust to go into the filling mixture. And you're going to let it sit out of the oven until it cools down. And that is going to cause the whole thing to get a more of a pudding-like consistency instead of runny.
That sounds interesting.
So,
never heard of dowdy before, but...
Well, okay. So this is very interesting. I was reading in the medieval times, they would tell you to make mixtures and bake them inside of a crust, just like we talked about, but they called it the coffin. It doesn't mean the same thing as what we mean today. It just meant like a container, right? But today we have a different,
obviously,
a different definition. Anyways, but it was formal, you see. And then when they served pies before, it had the smooth top layer. It was formal. But to dowdy the dish was to make it less formal.
Okay.
To make it more, more dowdy.
I kind of like that, actually. Now you're on the hook. You're going to have to make one.
I might have to.
I like the idea of the dowdy because I like having the crust kind of mixed in.
Yeah,
and with it
sure,
and everything.
Right?
So that sounds pretty good.
An apple pan dowdy.
You're on the hook.
So you want to allow it to cool, and then you're ready to have a good dessert.
I like it.
I learned a lot. I did. I learned a lot of things.
And of all the pies, I like apple pie best. So.
Oh, I know. I was going to talk about the Italian apple cake. We might have to save that for another episode because I didn't bring my note with me.
Oh, Mary.
Jeff's very, very favorite dish from when he was young, and his grandmother would make an apple cake with apple slices on the top.
She did. It was awesome. It was awesome. And we came from an Italian family, so they were literally always cooking. I don't remember ever going to their house and not somebody, either my grandfather or grandmother, was cooking. It was crazy. Well, cool.
Love that.
I love it. I love the apple stories. I like the history of stuff. It just kind of gets you thinking. Is like, you know, how are you getting a milk out of an almond? Who the heck comes up with that idea? I don't even understand it.
Well, today, the thing that blows my mind today, we have food processor, we have a high-powered mixer, we have choppers.
Yeah, they didn't have any of that stuff. It's all manual.
And they didn't have that.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so just think they didn't have any kind of machine to make almond milk. So that had to be quite a process.
That would be a process, right? They would have
it's pretty
to grind
cool, though.
it. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to go back and reread that.
Yeah, I like it.
Recipe.
Good stuff. I like it. It's very interesting.
Let's see what I was wondering if you might spice it up a little.
What is that music? I actually only have a couple of things. Apple related.
Ooh.
So, the apple, think about it. If you really think about it, all the places you go. I mean, we're Apple computer people ourselves.
We are. I forgot about that.
But did you know? So in 1977, there was a 24-year-old art director named Rob Janoff. He worked at a agency in San Francisco, and he was asked by the agency boss to create a new logo for a startup company called Apple Computer. Oh. And the reason Steve Jobs wanted that, he said, I like apples and love to eat them, was the way his thing. And so he asked them to come up with a logo. It's the logo with like the bite out of it. And if you are an Apple person, you kind of know the original logo was multicolored. It wasn't like it is today. It had different colors in it with the little bite out of the side of it. So that's isn't that cool? That is pretty cool. A very original. Helped it stand out, the company stand out at the time. So I thought that was pretty interesting. The other thing, Mary, have you ever heard an apple a day keeps the doctor away?
I have heard that.
Do you know where that comes from?
I have told our children that.
Do you know where it comes from now?
I absolutely do not know.
Well, of course, as everything seems to come from 1860s in England.
Hey.
There was an adage that said, eat an apple on going to bed, and you'll keep the doctor from earning his bread.
What? That is hilarious.
But I was actually reading on the University of Notre Dame has a article called, Does an Apple a Day Really Keep the Doctor Away? I was kind of shocked that how much apples can help with health. And
okay.
I didn't know if you noted that, but so we'll for cancer in 2016, they had an analysis that revealed that there was significant reductions in cancer risk in folks with the highest apple intake compared to those with the lowest intake.
Wow.
And for diabetes, there was a Finnish study that looked at 10,000 men and women and found a significant inverse relationship between apple intake and the risk of type 2 diabetes.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I was like, what? Where's this stuff from?
Wow.
And in the U.S., they found that the risk of type 2 diabetes decreased 27% in women consuming one apple per day compared to those that didn't consume any. So
I never knew any of this.
It's pretty interesting stuff. Now, you have to go look at all these things, but this was on the Notre Dame site, so it wasn't some, weird site out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was also, it has a effect on dementia. So they had some recent studies that in mice and rats, but the apples and apple juice intake resulted in a significant improvement in cognitive performance, reduced oxidative stress, and improved memory performance.
Wow.
So it does actually have some real things behind the old doctor, apple a day.
Interesting.
I know. I was actually surprised too. I mean, of course we've heard that forever, but it does seem to have some, significant.
I think that is outstanding.
Health,
yeah.
Things that, and thank goodness I like apples. I'm a very picky person, but I do like apples.
You do like your apples. We might have to go increase our apple intake.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, if you guys are interested, it's on the University of Notre Dame site, and it's articles, does an apple a day really keep the doctor away?
I love that.
And some good little studies there. So that's what I had.
Well, since we've been doing our small section here on apples, we have increased our apple intake. We've been noticing them at this grocery. We've been selecting more varieties, you know, which is great. I mean, it's brought it into our awareness.
Yeah,
and
they're everywhere. There's actually also, there's a site called Apples and People. It's called applesandpeople.org.uk. And it has, if you go out there, there are all kinds of stories. That's where I got the Apple computer story. But there's stories out there about the Granny Smith, about the grafting, history of it. It's pretty interesting site out there. And a lot of, you can click on any of the stories, and it's,
It's good for another deep dive.
Learn all kinds of cool stuff.
I love it.
About apples.
I do know that I think we're a little late this year, but next year, I would like to put in our calendar that we travel to Medina, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Medina, Texas is in Bandera County, which I think is sort of west of San Antonio, but they said it was closer to Kerrville than it is to San Antonio.
Okay.
And it is close to the Lost Maples National or the Lost Maples State Park.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some other really nice sections close to it as well. And it is the Texas apple capital.
Really?
We'll
have to check that out next year.
Texas, yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask you one more question, Mary. I have to quiz you. Do you know what is the only native apple to the United States?
The crab apple.
Oh, darn you. All right, didn't stump you.
I do know that, but it was on my back burner to see what the difference was between a crab apple and a domesticated apple. And I neglected to look that up, but I'm interested in that. Is it a form of an apple?
Well, I mean, we've seen crab apples.
Is it in the malice? Interestingly enough, I did learn that the apple tree is in the same family as the rose.
Really?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A form of the rose.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say. Crab apples.
Apple.
Put that on your list. Just for you, Mary. It's maintained a tenuous place in the public consciousness because of its use in setting jams and making apple jellies.
How interesting, because it must have a lot of pectin, which is the gelling property. That's why in some of the recipes that I talked about today, especially the apple pan dowdy, they tell you to divide your apples between a tart apple, such as a Granny Smith apple, and an apple that has more pectin in it that is good for gelling.
All right.
That would help to set
there's a lot of apple stuff. Let's just say it.
It's a total apple mania.
There's a lot of apple stuff out there. And I love it. I love apples. All right, cool. What else you got for us?
Well, to end this whole interesting dive into apples, I wanted to discuss growing them here in Texas. And so we did touch a little bit on this last week, and I was just going to reiterate. Well, one of the main reasons is if you are considering into putting in bare root fruit trees, now is the time to go out and see where those trees are going to be available, because they will be sent to you. You'll purchase them. They'll be sent to you while they're dormant, and you'll plant them during the winter season here. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about the the growing and care of the apples. Generally, we find container-grown apple trees, and so they can be planted here in our area year-round. Fall is like the premium time to plant, so if you are interested in growing some apple trees, this is the time to look for them. And our area has, for our chilling hours, the Anna variety is very good. Dorset Golden. Actually, for our area, the Fuji is
really?
good. And the Gala apple fits in. We also have an apple called Molly's Delicious. And there are a number of other varieties. The Dorset seems to be a good pollinator type apple for our area. And so now is the time for you to consider getting out there and planting them. Winter is actually a good time to plant apples in our area because they're dormant and you'll get them in the ground. When you dig your hole, you want to have it be, wider than the root ball, but not much more deep, right? And you want to make sure that when you fill it with your mix, you want to include your native soils into the mix and water it in really well when you're planting it, even if it's winter. Try not to plant it before a heavy freeze or something like that. But as we go into December and January, good time to plant it. I would hold off in February if it was me. You can plant in the spring, and you actually can plant in the summer. You're going to really need to watch the watering, and I have a tip for sunburn, how to protect it from sunburn here in a little bit. But they need full sun, of course, and 8 or more hours a day. So the ideal soil last week, A&M suggested it needed to be between 6.5 and 7 pH. Greg Grant, in his book, Texas Fruit and Vegetable Gardening, suggests that the apple tree needs a pH between 6 and 6.5.
Okay.
Well, in our area, I just tend to rely on a acidifying, I like microlife acid to help a little bit with that. So what you're going to do is you're going to plant your tree, and they say to give it 10 to 20 feet. I like growing a little backyard orchard, so mine are spaced very closely together, but I intend to keep those trees tiny.
Right. And
when we traveled in Europe, we traveled over to Scotland at the Royal Horticultural.
Oh, yeah.
And so they have an apple growing on one main stem, and there are different varieties like 2 feet apart. They just keep them pruned into that shape. Well, you're not going to get loads and loads of apples, but you're going to get a few at a time and over an extended period. And I think that works perfect for a backyard orchard,
Yeah, we don't want to. I agree.
You don't want so many apples that you can't deal with them. For the first 3 or 4 years, they suggest applying a complete fertilizer. Again, I'm really like microlife, but something that has all the numbers sort of in the same area. A 10-10-10, a 8-8-8, something like that. And do that in the spring, a ½ pound in the spring, a ½ pound in the fall. As your trees begin to mature, so it's going to take a few years for them to really start fruiting. You probably won't have to do a lot of fertilizing, but if you notice that the growth is beginning to fall off, you can go back to that schedule. Make sure that they get 1 to 2 inches of water per week. Apple trees are like everything else in our system, they need a good drink, you know. This is what I did not know last year that I learned. Apples in Texas ripen actually from July to October.
Oh, okay.
You know, and we had one apple, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting for it. And one day it wasn't there anymore. And so I think what happened was, I didn't know the apples ripen that early here. And B, I didn't understand the apples generally won't turn bright red here in Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Even though they're ripe, they'll still maintain their green coloration. And also, you could pick the apple and let it ripen indoors if you are not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Oh, interesting.
But yeah. So one of the things, apples do come with its own basket full of things to watch out for, which is too extensive for my brain to to compute. But I did learn that in order to protect the apple trees, and this goes for plums and peaches, all kinds of trees, there's a kaolin spray that you buy the kaolin powder. It's Surround. It's listed as an organic amendment by Omri. And you mix it with water, and it's a very fine powder. You don't want to breathe it or anything like that. You mix it with water and you spray it on the trees. And that is going to help you protect from sunburn here in Texas. It's going to help you protect from moths that get on the tree. They don't like the taste of it. They'll stay away from it. And so do a little research on the Surround kaolin product. And that is what I'm planning to use on my apples and my plums to protect them from different varieties of bugs and stuff like that. Use your beneficial nematodes.
Oh, we like our beneficial nematodes.
We love them, right? They're our friends.
And we've used them.
And when you get ready to eat your apples or your other produce, wash it really good. And that they say you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, wash it off really good.
That's cool.
It washes away.
All right.
And it won't hurt your soil.
Very good.
You know,
I didn't know our apples didn't turn red. Crazy.
They keep more of a green color.
Okay. Well, now we know.
And you also want to thin your apples. You want to let each apple develop 6 inches away from each other.
Oh, okay.
So that's another little tidbit.
Interesting.
It is, right?
The world of apples.
Yes, I only learned about the Medina, Texas today, or I would have suggested.
Well, that's interesting because we've lived here forever. I've never heard of it.
Forever.
So,
yeah.
Okay. We'll give it a shot next year.
It's sort of close to Garner State Park.
Yeah, it's not very far from us.
Not very far from us.
So it's definitely doable. Okay, very good.
Well, everyone, I have thoroughly enjoyed today's podcast, and I hope that you will enjoy looking up some of these recipes and giving them a try.
Yeah.
And maybe you could make yourself the Jack Rose while you're at it.
Yeah, I like it. And the dowdy, do some dowdying. Everybody do some dowdying on your pies.
We are going to have to give that a try.
That actually sounds good. I the whole mix of the crust inside. I mean, of course, you can get a slice and do that yourself, but that sounds good.
It does, doesn't it?
All right.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, thank you, Mary. Appreciate it. As we all know, guess what's coming up? 2 days, Halloween. You guys enjoy Halloween out there and check all the pumpkins and
have yourself a caramel apple while you're at it.
There you go. Get a caramel. I like caramel apples. I'll have a caramel.
I do too.
You know which ones I don't like though? I never liked the candy apple.
The ones covered in cinnamon?
No, we're like with the crust, with the candy hard crust on them. Yeah.
The red cinnamon ones.
Yeah. I was never that person.
You like the sticky ones.
I'm a caramel apple person. Well, all right. Thank you. And as always, we appreciate you guys joining us here at Mary Bird's Backyard Garden, and we hope to see you next week. Same place, same time.
Happy Halloween.
Hey, happy
and
Halloween.
Happy gardening.
Ooh. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.